Well, hey, sports fans, here we go. I've noticed something the more I listen to Fox, and I don't watch TV, I listen to the internet. I look at the YouTube feed and see what Ingram and Tucker Carlson and others are saying about the day's events. This coming from a guy who used to sit religiously and watch ABC, NBC, and CBS. You know, Dan Rather, Tom Brokaw, and Peter Jennings. I used to be a news hound. So with the advent of the networks going 100% to the left and liberal, I don't watch very much of that. In fact, I don't watch any at all. The only news from the three-letter networks that I watch are clips that are included in Fox News' commentary. People who criticize me locally here saying, oh, I sit around listening to Fox News. I said, no, I don't sit around listening to Fox News. I just select specific stuff that catches my interest. People who watch endless news coverage on the three-letter networks are being programmed and brainwashed. There's no doubt about it. ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, PBS, and NPR, all liberal to the left. They're no longer what I call professional investigative journalism. They're ignoring cases that are huge, that if they actually did their job, it could increase their ratings just because of the drama and the crazy evil that it would expose. People tune into those networks that had the inside scoop on things. But instead, what is happening, and I'm going to talk about what Fox News seems to be doing, is they seem to be dumbfounded as to why Biden the other night said, I'm not going to change anything. Why does this surprise people? Well, it depends on which mindset helmet you've got on. If you have the mindset helmet of logical thought processes, number one, the Democratic Party, and we use this term in MGTOW all the time, the Democratic Party is emotionally driven logic. It is not logic. It is not factual, concrete, cognitive, rational, sane thinking party. Look at people like AOC. Look at people like Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton, all these using words like democracy and justice and worried about saving the EARTH because of CLIMATEWARMING. You have to say that because the algorithms come in on these videos and go, boom, slam, delete. This is the new censorship, folks. You have to agree with the Hitler in charge of Google, the Hitler in charge of Facebook. And yes, I said that. Mark Zuckerberg is Jewish. Now let that sink in. I am not anti-Semitic, but I'm going somewhere with this. His organization spends a lot of time censoring things, picking on people that are conservative primarily, fact-checking, admitted in court that the fact-checkers are merely opinions. Oh, but you call them fact-checkers, and you cock-block anybody who disagrees with you. This stuff is only going to get worse. We look at the House and the Senate. We're a hung jury is what we got going on right now. Now, how is it that Arizona and Nevada can't get their votes together, but Florida, who's got more people than both of them, gets all their votes in by morning, and they knew who the winners were? Isn't that interesting? Makes you wonder, are the Democrats messing with things? Toss a few here, toss a few there. Perhaps. I wouldn't put it past them. But when Biden says he's not going to change anything, why are we surprised? My reaction is to go, wow, that's stupid. But did it ever occur to you that the networks and all the social media out there, they put stuff in your feed to anger you? The algorithms also see what Pacific is interested in. Here's a video you might like. Sometimes I watch it, sometimes I don't. Biden and his administration is deliberately shipwrecking the gas industry on purpose. He is trying to create a crisis. He's lying to you when he's blaming it on the oil and this and that. He created the problem. Can't frack, can't offshore drill, shut down the Keystone Pipeline. That was the first thing he did when he got into office back in 2020. And I would recommend to my readers, if any of you are interested in reading, Clive Cussler is one of the best. I have a shelf full of books over here, hardbacks mostly. This was a paperback that I saw at Sam's Club, but I go to a store that's a discount store. I can get the hardbacks for $3.99, which is cheap considering they're $27, $30 a book now. So why is Biden doing this? What does Biden have to gain? Are the elites in the world behind this? You better believe it. The billionaires of the world are going to get together and discuss about how you all need to change your lives and reduce your carbon footprint, even though none of them have. Biden's going to get on a jet to go to these summits. Taxpayer dollars, of course. Tons of jet fuel used. Let me make it very clear that no one in this current Democrat administration has read the end of the book and seen what God's going to do to this planet. What the Democrats are saying about this planet and the imminent danger to it is a fallacious lie. God is going to destroy this earth himself in judgment. You listen to these Democrats, they act like they're gospel. They claim to be scientists. They're not. Scientists today, many of them are not real scientists. They're theorists who put forth their viewpoint as if though it's fact. Many of these scientists are atheists. Many of these scientists are God deniers, God rejectors, laugh at the Bible, laugh at anybody who calls himself a believer in faith in God. They tell you that man came from monkeys, that they evolved. They said a long time ago evolution was a theory, yet they teach it as a fact. Isn't that interesting? So I'm not going to listen to them on climate issues. I'm not going to listen to them on numerous other things. And all YouTube is doing is chasing us off, and we have other sites to go to. Woke companies. Biden is deliberately trying to create a crisis. In the worst case scenario, we run out of diesel, say, at the end of this November. That means a whole lot of stuff is going to shut down real quick. Your products will not get to your store at all. Have you stopped and thought about that? Is Biden prepared to deal with that? And the next question you should ask himself, or does he care? Was Fox News scaremongering when they said we're going to run out of diesel? I don't know. I'd like to believe they didn't. The Democratic Party is moving in the direction of a one world agenda. Biden has had his adulterous relationship with China through his son. His son, the investigation by the FBI should have been immediate when this came out. New York Times and everybody else ignored it, especially during the election time 2 years ago and today. And we still don't hear anything. The FBI came out and said they have enough evidence to charge him, and yet, boom, quiet. Hunter made money for Daddy-O. Daddy-O lied and said, I know nothing. And yet they caught him in a phone call. The Republicans claim if they get the upper hand, they're going to investigate all of this. and demand an investigation. My question is, what good does this do? I heard in church this morning about Nehemiah. Nehemiah is an interesting book in the Bible. He was I believe he was a cupbearer for the king. Basically, that meant he had to sip whatever the king was to drink first to make sure that it was good. And if he died and it was poison, then the king wouldn't drink it. And there's a position open for the next cupbearer. But Nehemiah was distressed, and the king says, "Why is your countenance down?" And he said, "Well, my people, my city's trodden down." And the king says, "Okay, you've been a good cupbearer. What do you want me to do?" "Well, I just want to be able to go and rebuild the walls." Sanballat and Tobiah and others didn't like that, harassed and dogged him. And the pastor was saying today, when you are doing what is right, the devil's going to come after you. And the devil uses people. The devil uses an administration. The devil uses online stalkers, trolls, and nut jobs. They're all over the place. And I was reminded yet again that when you're firing on all cylinders, that's when you're getting viciously attacked. The midterm should have shown people, you want more inflation? You want to be forced to get an electric car? Apparently, a bunch of people think that's cool. They do not know what it's like. And part of this is because people have been crying wolf so many times about so many different things. But you have a lot of women in this country more concerned about the right to murder their babies, what they call choice. It's not a choice for the child in the womb, but it's a selfish choice for them, convenient choice. You have a growing number of Christians. And I've never understood something about African American, excuse me, got some allergies, so forgive me. I've had a lot of wind and storm and stuff falling, and yeah, you know the deal. The African American community, those that claim to be true born again Christians, vote Democrat. Now, there are exceptions to that, but most of them do. You cannot reason with them at all. They're convinced that that's the party to go to. A party that supports things that are not even biblically based. Abortion is not biblically based. Warnock, who's the extremist leftist black candidate for the Senate for the state of Georgia, has said that abortion is in the Bible. I can promise you he's not reading the Bible that most of us are aware of. Warnock ran over his ex-wife's foot. She said this guy is he's a great con artist, but he's not a good person. No one is going to be perfect that runs for political office. And then we heard that black churches were telling their parishioners to vote Democrat. There's a radio station out here, I covered it last week, that is all black music, all black staff at the office, pushing for the Democrats, pushing for black only, vote by color. How is that not racism? And you talk to a lot of black people, they don't believe they're guilty of racism. Only whites are, nobody else. But now that I've been out here a while, you find that they will say that Asians are racist. And what it gets down to with the black community is a lot of people are racist, just not them. What does this have to do with everything? It has a lot to do. The African American community is the most gullible and easily manipulated group. China actually made some comments about the African American peoples in the U.S. and said they're easy to lead around and control. China does not respect the African American community. There are places around the world that don't respect the African American community. And yet the African American community is now and has now become the tail that wags the dog in the continental United States. 13% of the populace, and from BLM to Nike to everybody, everything that has to do with the black community, from Colin Kaepernick taking pro sports and turning it into a political shit circus, when actually football was one of the few places that all races, everybody came together to get behind the team. So as far as all this racism and injustice that goes on, things were fine with football. There's white and black players. And people of all races came and paid big money for NFL and basketball and the NBA and baseball. And it was a black man that took and turned that into a racially dividing issue that cost the NFL quite a bit of money. I'm not a fan of Kaepernick, as I can say, but I'm not a fan of any of these leading big mouth, big name African American people that, and when I say big mouth, making the most noise, the need to get attention, the need to, be as, it's like when you go to walk through a doorway, then you got a kid that's acting up, a toddler, and the kid's acting up, and you pick him up to take him in another room, and you spread eagle's arms, legs, and you turn him sideways, and you can't get through the door. That's the way I see a lot of African Americans. They just got to be obtuse. They got to just be that wrench in the machine, and racism, and everything shuts down. Biden has worked this well. He made racist statements against blacks many years ago. He stated that he didn't want his daughter going to the schools in those certain neighborhoods because he said it's a jungle there. The blacks never took issue with that one. Of course, they never took issue with Margaret Sanger either, who is the mother of Planned Parenthood and was racist through and through. They never took issue with Charles Darwin, who is racist through and through, who said that black people are an inferior race. Now, I'm going to say something. I don't believe there's an inferior race. But I am going to say, after over half a century of living, there clearly are smart ethnic groups and not so smart ethnic groups. African Americans in the U.S., not the highest on the achievement totem pole intellectually. Now, there's some that break out of that. Now, I'm not talking about college-educated grads here. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about common sense that works. And that's a whole nother video. My friends in the social media world in Kenya and Zambia know 2 and 3 languages. They dress very pretty. They're not twerking. They're not listening to the kind of the yucky, circle the drain kind of music that a lot of African Americans are. Now, I'm not talking about Motown. I'm not talking about the good classic African American contributions to the rock music and the jazz scene. They were legendary. But today's music, garbage. I don't care if it's Snoop Dogg. Crapola Harris said, and I say this on purpose, Crapola Harris said one of her heroes was Tupac Shakur. That ought to tell you right there. And we vote this stuff in. We vote this in. We got a bartender in New York City or somewhere in New York that can get voted in as probably the dumb as a stump politician ever afraid of a garbage disposal. Wants to ban all fossil fuels. Has anybody thought about this, what this is going to do? Now let's tie Bill Gates into this whole mess. You remember when we had the COVID-19 shutdown, lockdown, draconian noose around all of our necks? Just stay at home. Remember YouTube was right away with their little videos with different colored people and flaky Caucasian women. Just stay at home. Yeah, how much money you making working for Google, babe? It's no skin off your back, right? Seriously. Seriously. Did you hear the story about a female out in California that she was ordered to shut down a restaurant, but then Governor Newsom, California, who got reelected again. Now go figure that out. They all complained about him, but they voted him again. They get what they deserve. They had this big event with food and everything out in the streets right outside her business that shuttered. The next time I hear somebody tell me the Democrats are more compassionate than the Republicans, I'm gonna have to excuse myself and walk into a corner and go, bullshit. That's a lie. Nancy Pelosi running around without a mask in a hair salon. This is a setup. Mr. Newsom himself going to a fungal dinner and getting his truffles at $300 dinner for himself. I'm going to say it again, folks. Follow the money. The politicians are bought off by Philip Morris. They're bought off by all kinds of people. But is there something bigger going on? Fox News says if we can just get Biden to realize that you're not going to get Biden to realize one thing because we have all been wrong. It's easy for us to say he's stupid. He's not. This is deliberate, willful. His administration behind him wants this. The only people that are waking up are like Tulsi Gabbard and those that are leaving. But the ones staying Democrat and voting in this trash, they know what they're doing. They don't care about middle class. They don't care about working class. Remember all the handouts they gave? I keep hearing about all these people that made all this money to stay home. Where is all this money coming from? I got the stimulus, few checks. When things opened back up, you couldn't go into a fast food restaurant. You had to come through drive-through. Well, we don't have the restaurant, the lobby open because we don't have enough staff. Why? Because people got all these bonus, all these checks from the government. They don't want to work anymore. But let's bring in Bill Gates. Bill Gates believes in eugenics. Don't believe me? Do your digging around on YouTube. Look it up. Look it up. Bill Gates said that poverty is the result of inferior genetics. So he believes, like Adolf Hitler, that there's inferior genetics. I wonder how he feels about special needs people and handicapped. But let's stop for a minute. Bill Gates is not exactly GQ. Neither was his wife, Melinda. She wasn't sexy. So how come he thinks he's la creme, la creme? But he, for all the money he makes, and he lives in a house the size of a schoolhouse. Let me get my phone and see if we can shoot up a couple pictures here. Pictures of Bill Gates' home. Now, I want you to see this. Let's see if we can get this thing in here. Now, does this look like a modest home to you? That's his home. That's bigger than a school building. All that. All wood, used a lot of pine trees. Let's see if we can get over to YouTube. Bill Gates believes in population control and eugenics. See if we can find it. Why is this not coming up? Founder of Planned Parenthood had ties to white supremacy and eugenics. Okay, that's good old Margaret Sanger. I mean, seriously, you call that a GQ looking guy? He and Zuckerberg both. Oh, I see. The lady that I blasted the other day has got another video out. He needs to chase you. His soul desperately wants this experience. She's sitting in her car, flaking with her hair. See if we can get out of this. Wow, I hate this thing. How about if we just get out of it? I can't seem to find the video I'm looking for, but nonetheless, Bill Gates is a billionaire, right? His biggest concern is overpopulation. Now, if I had a fraction of his money, I wouldn't be so concerned about overpopulation. I've only got so many years left on this planet. Now I'm going to take my little chunk. I'm going to help people along the way, but I'm going to go somewhere and pull out, man. Go somewhere where you can have a quiet, peaceful life. And at this rate, it'd probably be like, okay, let's look at another country other than the US because all this crap that's going on. But let me say something. I thought it was interesting during the COVID-19 issue, the Democrats were trying to act like they cared about us, that they believe the world is overpopulated. Why didn't you just let it take as many people out in thin herds, Democrats? What was really going on? You remember Justin Bieber up there in Canada? You know, Trudeau, we call him Justin Bieber. My friend in Canada calls him Justin Bieber. He said, this is the Great Reset. There were some amazing things that happened when the traffic stopped. Wildlife started showing up in cities. The air totally cleaned up. I mean, I admit, my personal opinion, there's a whole bunch of people driving cars that don't need to be driving. I recently said, if you can't use the turn signal and you run red lights and you can't follow the posted speed limit signs, you should not be allowed to vote. Why would I entrust you to vote in the right candidate when you can't even operate a turn signal or use your car properly? But I've said that about business trucks and contractors. Smoke and mirrors contractors. There was a plumbing truck that went by, said, on time or we pay you. Well, that's easy to do. They'll call you up and give you an 8-hour window. Oh, okay. Yeah, you got 8 hours there. Yeah. They'll make sure they're going to be there. How about if you give me an exact time? Then we'll go from there. They can't and they won't. So it's smoke and mirrors advertising. But you see these people and always laugh at the news media. These white women. Yes, there was a really bad accident on I-25 today. Yeah, people going too fast for the conditions. Oh, did you see the news anchor in her desk in the news car on her way to work? She was flying through the school bus stop sign and went through red lights, no turn signals. Oh, but we're not going to report on that, are we? I laugh at the professional world. I laugh at corporate America, but corporate America is not laughing anymore. They're the nerds/geeks revenge. Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, all these guys, they were teased and razzed as geeks and nerds. And guess what? They're censoring you. They're shutting your account down. They're putting a boa constrictor noose around society. And I've said it before about Facebook and Google. They do not follow constitutional law. And they don't believe they have to. They're fortress corporations. The doors are up. You cannot call a number and reach customer service, say, hey, I need to talk to you about something. Cannot. We should have known when that came out that that wasn't good. I mean, if you have a problem with Xfinity, you can call a customer service number. You have a problem with McDonald's, you got any number of numbers you can call. Not Google, not YouTube, not any of them. And just like somebody said again, social media has done through the back door what the Democrats couldn't do through the front door. Social media is working hand in glove with the United States Democratic Party. But they're also working hand in glove with the one world agenda. What is the one world agenda? Shut down all the fossil fuel. Remember, they were pushing for everybody to get VACCINATES? We don't hear that push anymore, do we? You get a tattoo on your arm with a cross for every booster shot you got. Why is it that people who have lots of money don't just go away to an island and drink Mai Tais or pina coladas and listen to Barry Manilow? Her name was Lola. Why aren't they why aren't they taking their money and living a quiet life somewhere? Well, I believe there's somebody called Satan. There are people that like to control things. They're control freaks. And we had a lot of that in American culture, a lot of that. Every person that gets into their car thinks that what they're doing is right. Plowing up on somebody's back end that's going the speed limit in the right lane and getting angry because there's so much traffic they can't pass. And you're getting angry because that guy's going the speed limit. Okay. I don't know what kind of struggles you're going through in life, but that sounds like a first world problem. Go to the Philippines. It takes me 3 hours to go 28 miles. 3 hours. Buses, jeepneys, tricycles, the LRT. Manila was a trip. Loved it. But Manila's a good place to go. But if you're going to live in the Philippines, you don't want to live in Manila. Get away from that crush of humanity and go to the provinces, and you can live a better life than you could live here. These Powerball winners with almost $2 billion. Did you know the government takes half of that right off the top? Half of that. I mean, that's 50% taxed. 50% taxed. I don't play the lotto. I thought, oh my gosh, if I had, even after taxes, $900 million, if I couldn't make that last the rest of my life, then I don't need to be entrusted with a dollar, let alone 900 million. It would be overwhelming to have that much money suddenly staring me in the face. The first thing I'd do is not tell anybody at all. The second thing I'd be doing is telling my employer I won't be in tomorrow due to an unforeseen set of circumstances. And I'd be packing stuff up and I'd be heading out fast and disappearing off the radar for obvious reasons. There's crazies in the world. And people that know me that no longer in touch with me would be suddenly standing there. Spare change? No. You have to get an attorney, you have to get an accountant and sit down before you even go collect that money and say, okay, what do I do here? Nobody deserves to have that kind of money. But Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Google people, all these guys, they are making money hand over fist. Elon Musk, I heard, doesn't even own his own home. He's a billionaire. And he couch surfs at other people's houses. I don't want to do that. Pacific always wants its own place. Because the more miles I traveled and the more time goes by, I really don't want to live with a bunch of people. Not unless it was a good, solid group of people where everybody got along and respected everybody's personal space. I know when I spent 2 weeks in Valenzuela City, north of Manila, in 2018 with a family, it was a very wonderful experience. It seemed so awesome. And, a year later, when I was talking to the gal I went and saw over there, she said she always used to look forward to going home before I had come out to see her. She'd get her free slice of pizza. She had won some contest at a local pizzeria. She'd get her pizza. She'd get her day off from being a nanny of a woman and her husband and their two kids in Valenzuela City. She get her one day off a month, and she's excited to have her piece of pizza. And she'd call me from Skype or whatever and showed me her folks in the house. And I'm like, wow, that just looks so cool. And a year later, she's telling me, I don't even want to go home. Why? My mom and dad, they fight, they argue. And I said, man, they didn't do any of that when I was there. No, they didn't do that when you were here. They were so shocked that you, a foreigner, wanted to stay with us. I said, well, your family was good to me. So it doesn't matter where you go. Every place has its problems. Some have more than others. But back to Biden, back to eugenics, back to all this. These people that earn big money, instead of going to the Philippines or Thailand or Costa Rica or Lanzarote or the Canary Islands or New Zealand, they rather stay here and F things up. Their lust for control is incredible. Their power-hungry appetite is never sated. Never. I can't fathom that. I'd like the biggest stress to be confronting me is, what are you going to do with $900 million? Maybe Pacific could build his own steamship. There we go. I could just live on it. We do live videos from Pacific, on the Pacific, sailing the SS Pacific. Actually, I wouldn't waste my money in that either. I'd go somewhere where somebody can't find me. Not that nobody could, but common folks. Biden is deliberately trying to ruin fossil fuels. People will ask, why? If you can destroy the freedom that is in America, you can accomplish socialism all through the rest of the world without a hitch. Russia's not a free country. But what's ironic is the Democrats are very angry at Putin for invading the Ukraine. Nancy Pelosi said that Ukraine is a democracy. But you look at what the Democrats are doing in the US, and they're acting like Putin, Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, Lenin, promoting the killing machine called abortion. And you and I all know if they have their way, if they had their way, Jack Kevorkian was hung, framed for carrying, personal abortions on his own. But the Democrats would love to get rid of people that are too old. Even in Obamacare, there was a provision in there that once you're on the government, they're going to decide whether your grandma gets to live or not. I don't want the government making those kind of decisions, nor should you. What is interesting is you would think Biden at his age would want to just go eat some Werther's Originals and sit in front of the TV with his mouth half open and drool run down the side of his face. The guy's losing his mind. But let's go even further. The clown in Pennsylvania got voted in. Are you serious? Yep, I am. You thought we learned from the last 2 years, right? A whole lot of people didn't learn. And they voted in a truly incompetent individual. It seems like we're being infiltrated. Refugees, illegals, blacks that have been galvanized into complete black supremacy mentalities. The Black Panthers thing. I mean, it's going on, and it seems open season on whites. In fact, it is. The media is dominated by throwing out the word racist. And yet, my challenge to the African American left is they only simply need to see who's in charge of the big power strings and the biggest bank accounts. They're not black, they're white. Zuckerberg, Bezos, Elon Musk, the owners of ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, NPR, blah, 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 CNN, MSNBC, and all the other three-letter networks. When that finally sinks in, maybe the blacks will wake up and realize they've been pimped. Nike made a pair of shoes a couple years ago. It was the original 13 Colonies pink shoes for ladies with the 13 little stars. Cute little shoes. Colin Kaepernick had a problem with that. How was he able to effectively shut down Nike on the production of those shoes? This is a guy who had a meltdown and didn't want to, stand up for the national anthem, wanted to kneel and got everybody else involved in that. I could care less if the NFL and the AFC and all that went bye-bye. It has no bearing on me. But in America, we have put professional sports on the order of temple worship. And Americans have gotten to the point now where we're just like Rome. Give us bread in the circus and we'll be content. Give us our little handouts. Drop these crumbs from the table. while the fat cats, just like Animal Farm, are just living sumptuously. The pigs in the farmhouse eating caviar and red wine and filet mignon, and the horse is out there stumbling around. He's given his all to the cause. Then he gets sold to the glue factory, and all the animals are duped, while the pigs, aka the Democrats, are living high on the hog, telling you to reduce your carbon footprint. Then, and are they being whisked around in electric limousines? No. Denial. Crime on the subway is bad. Crime in New York City is bad. Crime in Illinois. All these places that are liberally dominated, and the Democrats are just like drinking Kool-Aid going, what crime? Biden and his administration are trying to create a crisis, but he's blaming everybody. It seems to me that this country would be totally within its right to build a militia and overthrow that group of people. No, I did not say I'm doing it. I don't believe in violence or any of that and breaking all the laws. But the Constitution allows for a militia. So if we run out of diesel and if product doesn't get to the stores, what are you all going to do? You're going to just sit there and waste away? Or are people going to march the streets and start overthrowing the government and saying, this stuff is done? We're going to open up drilling today. We're going to open up fracking today, and we're going to stop this madness. I have sat as a conservative watching Republicans have no spine. Conservative Republicans and Fox News, they report on all this, that. But what effect is it having? Fox News has more views than CNN. So like I said in the other video, what happened in the midterms? We failed to realize how many dumb people there are in this country. That you have people on the left that are single issue focused people. Feminist, oh, it's only about abortion. Forget the economy. Somebody I know is a friend of mine, Caucasian woman, and I have no hatred towards her. I love her dearly. Her dog died the other day, and she's posted post after post after post after post about the death of her dog, how sad it is, and her dog's in heaven, and she'll see the dog in heaven. And I'm going, no, dog's not going to be there. If the dog's going to be there, then every cockroach and beetle and pill bug and spider and ant you stepped on, you know, where does this foolishness end? Souls go to heaven. Insects and animals and birds do not. If we're going to use that reasoning, then that would mean all the dinosaurs are up there running around. T-Rex, Brontosaurus, Stegosaurus, pterodactyls. Really? There's a weird dichotomy in this country. People love their dogs more than they love a child in the womb. There's more rights for the protection of an animal against animal cruelty than there is against womb cruelty. Let that sink in. Think about Obama. You either have health insurance or you get fined. But the illegals come in and they give them health insurance. We can't get it for our citizens, but they're giving it to illegals. What are they doing? They're trying to destroy conservatism. They're trying to destroy the Christian pack. I'm starting to wonder how much of a Christian pack there is in this country, but they're trying to sow discord and division and have people turn on each other. That's a fact. And that's what you're seeing. So Fox News, as much as I respect them, they're trying to be too professional and say, well, you know, if Biden just, hey, Fox, Biden isn't. This is on purpose. The Bible says a one world government's coming that'll be headed up by the Antichrist. who is so full of ego, so full of himself, he'll demand that everybody worship him or else. I don't even want to think about the prospects of us running out of fuel. Already, we're looking at a utility upcharge this winter for natural gas, fuel oil, all that. Fox News is one of the better news organizations. Sky News Australia is a very good one out of Australia. They seem to know more about what's going on over here than all of the Democrats do. And the world is watching us. Other countries are watching us, and they're sitting there going, man, US, when are you going to get it together? And I close with this verse. When the wicked rule, the righteous groan. It remains to be seen what's going to happen. But thank you for watching. This is Pacific signing off.